In May 1942, the Japanese began transferring POWs by sea. Similar to the treatment on the Bataan Death March, prisoners were often crammed into cargo holds with little air, food or water for journeys that would last weeks. Many died due to asphyxia, starvation or dysentery. Some POWs became delirious, unresponsive, trapped in an environment of heat, humidity, and suffocating lack of oxygen, food, and water. These unmarked prisoner transports were targeted as enemy ships by Allied submarines and aircraft. More than 20,000 Allied POWs died at sea when the transport ships carrying them were attacked by Allied submarines and aircraft. Although Allied headquarters sometimes knew of the presence of POWs through radio interception and code breaking, the ships were sunk because interdiction of critical strategic materials was deemed more important than the lives of prisoners of war. Lisbon Maru was a Japanese freighter used as a troop ship and prisoner of war transport between China and Japan. When she was sunk by USS Grouper SS-214 on October 1st, 1942, she was carrying, in addition to Japanese Army personnel, almost 2,000 British prisoners of war. Captured after the fall of Hong Kong in December 1941, over 800 of these men died, either directly as a result of the sinking, or were shot or otherwise killed by the Japanese, while swimming away from the wreck. The ship should have carried appropriate markings to alert Allied forces to the nature of its cargo, but did not do so. Rakuyo Maru was torpedoed September 12, 1944, by USS Ceylon II SS-315, which later realised the ship carried Allied POWs. It was transporting 1,317 Australian and British prisoners of war from Singapore when it was torpedoed and sunk in the Luzon Strait. A total of 1,159 POWs died as a result of the sinking. 4 Australians, survivors of the sinking of 2 Japanese prisoner of war transports, were rescued from the sea by crew members of the USN submarine USS Pampanito SS-383, covered in oil and clinging to a makeshift raft. They drifted in the sea for several days after USS Pampanito sank the Kachidoki Maru on September 12, 1944. USS Ceylon II SS-315 had also sunk another transport, Rakuyo Maru, carrying more prisoners of war in the same attack that day. These 4 men would later join additional Australian and British survivors rescued by other USN submarines, which also joined in the search. After docking at Saipan on September 25, 1944, the overall group was later repatriated to Australia. Suez Maru was a 4,645-ton freighter with passenger accommodation. She sailed on November 25, 1943, with 548 POWs, 415 British and 133 Dutch, from Ambon bound for Surabaya. The POWs were all sick men. From the work camps on the Moluccas and Ambon, 20 were stretcher cases. On November 29, 1943, the ship was torpedoed by USS Bonefish, SS-223, near Kanjian Island, east of Madeira Island. Most of the POWs drowned in the holds of the ship. Those who escaped from the holds and left the ship were shot by the Japanese. There were no POW survivors. Bunyo Maru was a 5,300-ton transport, carrying mainly Indian POWs of the 2nd Battalion, 16th Punjab Regiment, plus escorting forces from the 26th Field Ordnance Depot. It was torpedoed by USS Wahoo SS-238, commanded by Commander Dudley W. Morton, on January 26, 1943. Morton was responsible for ordering the machine gunning of the shipwreck survivors in the water, including the POWs. The Hague Convention of 1907 bans the killing of shipwreck survivors under any circumstances. Whatever the case, Morton and his executive officer O'Kane had misidentified the survivors as Japanese. The Allies intercepted a message about the Shinyo Maru and, thinking it was carrying enemy soldiers, the USS Paddle attacked it on September 7, 1944, off the coast of Mindanao. There were 750 American prisoners of war aboard, some Japanese guards, shot prisoners as they struggled from the holds or as they thrashed in the water. 688 died when the ship sank, leaving only 82 survivors. 47 of 52 Japanese guards also died. The 5,065-ton tramp steamer Junior Maru sailed from Batavia, Tanjung Priok, on September 16, 1944, with about 4,200 Ramusha slave labourers and 2,300 POWs aboard. These Dutch POWs included 1,600 from the 10th Battalion camp and 700 from the Kampong Makassar camp. This 23rd transport of POWs from Java was called Java Party 23. It included about 6,500 men, bound for Padang on the west coast of Sumatra, to work on the Sumatra Railway, mid-Sumatra. On September 18, 1944, the ship was 15 miles off the west coast of Sumatra near Bengkulu when HMS Tradewind hit her with 2 torpedoes, one in the bow and one in the stern. About 4,000 Ramushas and 1,626 POWs died when the ship sank in just 20 minutes. About 200 Ramushas and 674 POWs were rescued by Japanese ships and taken to the prison in Padang, where 8 prisoners later died. The 600-ton Maros Maru, sometimes called Haruyoshi Maru, sailed from Ambon on September 17, 1944, routed along the south coast of Celebes, with about 500 British and Dutch POWs bound for Surabaya. On September 21, 1944, the ship arrived at Muna Island, south of Celebes, to embark 150 additional POWs. The ship required engine repairs upon arrival in Makassar, where 159 POWs died in the holds during the 40 long days needed to complete repairs. They were given a seaman's grave in the harbour of Makassar. Only 327 POWs survived. When the ship finally reached Surabaya on November 26, 1944. They were transported by train to the Kampong Makassar camp in Batavia, Meester Cornelis, arriving on November 28, 1944. Oryoku Maru was a 7,363-ton passenger cargo liner, transporting 1,620 survivors of the Bataan Death March, Corregidor, and other battles. She left Manila on December 13, 1944, and over the next 2 days was bombed and strafed by US planes. About 270 died aboard the ship, some from suffocation, some from dehydration, others killed in the attacks or drowned while escaping the sinking vessel. Oryoku, burning after the attack on December 15, 1944, around 11 a.m., was photographed by a Hellcat from USS Hornet CV-12, showing POWs struggling and swimming in the open water. Brazil Maru transported the last surviving Allied POWs to Moji, Japan. There, Japanese medics, shocked at the wasted condition of the prisoners, used triage to divide them. The 110 most severe cases were taken to a primitive military hospital in Kokura, where 73 died within a month. 4 other groups were sent to Fukuoka POW camps 1, 3, 4, and 17. Of 549 men alive when the ship docked, only 372 survived the war. Some eventually went to a POW camp in Jinsan, Korea, where they were given light duty, mainly sewing garments for the Japanese army.